Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video, and in this video I will show you how you can find the maximum values for the given categories. So finding what's the maximum order amount, what is the maximum profit, or what is the maximum quantity is something which is a common whenever you are creating a new report or dashboard, because you want to show them, okay, for example, if you are creating IT incident tickets, so for which particular category you have got the maximum number of tickets, right? Similarly for sales, for which particular product category you have the maximum quantity, things like those is a common query when we are creating a report for our for the performance tracking or for management to show them how the situation is in their business. Alright, so I will show you how you can create or how you can identify this within Power BI using the Power Bi Dex function max. So before that, I will just give one quick information that within description you will find 3 links. One for the data set. Second one is for the Power BI videos, which is a Google Sheet link where you can search any of my published Power BI videos very easily and jump to those using the link provided. And the third link is basically the Google Data Studio report link, which contains all of my 900 plus videos of my channel, which you can search pretty easily and jump to those because the link is also provided over there. You can search for Tableau, Click, Power BI, even the Google Data Studio tutorial if you want to learn those. Alright, so that's about the quick information on my channel which is available. Now let's move on to creating the max function. So to create the max function, I will going to click over here, new measure, and the new measure is coming here, and I will say what I want to find is the maximum ordered sale. So I will say max ordered sale. And you can write whatever you want. So for example, in the previous video when I was showing how to find the minimum value, I have said minimum recorded sale. Similarly, but here this time I'm saying maximum ordered sale. So whatever makes sense and useful from the business language perspective, go ahead and create it by that name. And here pretty similar, simple, I will use the max function. And after max, I will going to write the name of the column. So let's say I have the sales, and here is this. So maximum sales is here, maximum ordered sale. And if I just click this, you will have the maximum ordered sale over here. Now to add this to this table, I will just click it over here to select the table. Here are my fields which has been added, and now I will just drag this field at the end and I will have the maximum ordered sale. So I have minimum sale and the maximum ordered sale, which is 3347. So there is, you can see, a huge range. Similarly, the minimum ordered in case of copiers is 299 and maximum is 17499. So huge difference. But it gives you the visibility what the range of your categories are in terms of sales or whatever the interest measure interest that you are having, and then you can basically go ahead and create this pretty easily for the visibility perspective. Now for the homework, what you can do is you can create the maximum ordered quantity and maximum profit order, or maximum profit order makes sense. So create that and do the exercise. That will help you to perform these actions pretty quickly whenever the situation is arising. So that's about it, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video, and in this tutorial video I will show you how you can apply the condition when performing the calculations. For example, if you see it over here, we have like total sales, total profit, right? But what if in this table we just want a particular type of sale? For example, we have these different segments: consumer, corporate, and home office. What if we just want the corporate sales as a separate column along with the total sales? Now, one way is that if we click on corporate sales, over here corporate, these values are updated. It's no longer total sales, it's corporate sales. But that's not what we want. We want this total sales and a comparison with the corporate sales. So in that scenario, what we do is we create the calculated columns or the measure using the Dex function calculate, where we can specify the measure that we want to calculate along with the condition, right? And that is something which I will show you how you can do it, because you will going to use it n number of times in your reports and dashboards. So it's very important, and see it till the end so that you know how to properly configure it. All right. And before I move ahead, just a quick information that within description, I have 3 links. One is for this data set. Second is for the all the Power BI tutorial, which is present within the Google spreadsheet. There you can search any Power BI video which I have published, and the link is present along with that, and you can directly jump on that and see it, and instead of searching it here on my channel, which sometimes it's very difficult. And then I have the third link, which is for the videos that is present, or all the videos that is on my channel, because I have Tableau videos, Click videos, Python videos, and so on and so forth. So you can quickly search any of those topics and learn it if you want to learn it. All right. So that's easily, I have made it easy for you so that you can access and find whatever you need. All right. Now what I will do is I will going to create the corporate sales column, so that along with total sales, I will have corporate sales. And to do that, what I will do is going to create a measure, click on the new measure, and we will say corporate underscore sales. And the function we will going to write is the calculate. And you can see that within calculate it is asking for expression and the filter. So our expression will be sum of sales. That is our expression. We want the sum of sales. And filter is the segment field is equals to corporate, and close this. So as you can see, it is slightly complex for beginners, but it's pretty straightforward. Within calculate, first specify the measure that you need. Since it expects an expression, that's why we have to use the sum of sales or minimum or maximum, some function, so that it becomes an expression. And then after comma, you have the field name, which is segment, and there you within double quotes, after the equal sign, you specify double quotes, specify the value, and ending double quotes, and the bracket for calculate. And once you click apply by clicking on this right button, your corporate sales is coming over here. Now to add it over here, I will just click here, and here is my table list, and I will going to go down and put it over here. Now it's pretty easy for me to see that for total sales is this, then how much is the corporate sales. If I want to keep this column beside the total sales, I will have to just move this up a little bit here, and now along with total sales I have corporate sales. And similarly, as a homework, what you can do is you can create one column for consumer sales and one column for home office sales, right? So that you will have, along with corporate sales, you have consumer sales, you have home office. Now we will just do a quick check whether these values are coming properly or not. So what I'll do is I will click on the corporate. So what it will do, it will change the total sales to only corporate. And since this is our calculated column only for the corporate sales, you can see the values are same. So that means whatever calculation we have done is same, and even if you see it down there, the total is same. So that's how very easily you can use this calculate function where you can specify the expression and the condition that you need and get the output that is expected, right? So like I said, you can specify the other two parameters, which is consumer and home office as an example, or as a homework that you can do, and create these two columns within these two tables and get the output, so that by the end of this exercise you will have the complete idea how to specify the right parameters within the calculate function. So that's mainly about it, what I wanted to discuss in this video with you, and I'll meet you in the new video with a new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video, and in this video I will show you how you can apply the Power BI Dex function average. So average is something that you will use quite a lot in your reports and dashboard, as it gives the measures like average sales, average order quantity, average profit. So whatever value that you are having, it gives you the average. And why it is important is because most of the time whenever we want to look at, let's say along with the total sum or the percentages, average is also one of the key measure, which basically gives a ballpark figure as to how we are doing when we are looking at our business metrics. And that's why many times it is present in our reports and dashboards along with the other metrics. So I will show you how you can create it, and before that, a quick information about the three links which is present in the description. One is the data set that is related to this video, so that you can also practice. Second is the link for Google Sheet, which contains all the Power BI videos which I have posted so far on my channel, so that you can easily access it by searching it, and a link is given in front of that. You can utilize that link. And the third link is for the Google Data Studio report, which contains all 900 plus videos related to various different topics like the click view, click sense, the Power BI is already part of this, Tableau, Python, all of those are present over there, and you can quickly search there. All right. So now with that information, let's move ahead and create the average sales for our metric. All right, to do that, what we need to do is click on the new measure. And once we click on the new measure, it will give us the formula bar, and we will going to write the name of the measure, which is the average sales. And we will use this function, which is average. Once we have average, then we will provide the sales as the field or whatever field of our interest and close the parenthesis. That's the minimum number of setting or the minimum setting that you need to do to find the average sales for your metrics. All right. Once you are done, you click on this sign over here, and the field will be created with the name average sales, and it is present over here, right? To add this to this table, we will click on this table over here, right, and come over here on the average sales and drag it to this values. So I will just scroll this up, so the last value is present, and I will put it right after the last value. All right, so here we have the average sales coming as the value with 2 decimal points. We can format it if we want it, but mainly what I want to show you is how the average sales is coming. So over here you have maximum order sales, you have average sales, you have minimum recorded sale. This is the total sales that you are having. So gives you some sort of a ballpark idea, as the range is quite high from lower value to higher value to the average value. And gives us an impression as to a lot of activity is going on, and because of which the ranges are pretty high. But all in all, you get to know what is your average sales for these categories. And very quickly, I will just show you, in case if you need to remove the decimals because it does not make a whole lot of sense. Then what you can do is you can come first of all to this formatting, then field formatting, and then choose the field which you want to format, like average sales over here. And for value decimal points, instead of auto you use 0 and the decimal points are gone. All right, so that's what you need to do, and I wanted to show you finally how you can format these fields, and that's about it. I'll meet you now in the new video with the new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video, and in this tutorial video I will show you how you can remove the impact of a filter on a given measure. For example, if you are selecting, let's say, consumer right over here, then your observation will be changed. But let's say for a one particular measure, total sales, you don't want to change it, right? Because you want to keep it like total sales. So depend on whatever filter you have, you just want that for on the total sales which you are having. Let me just put it down there. For this total sales, the impact should not come from any of these filters, either this or any filter which is present. So how you can get it or how you can achieve it within the Power BI, I will show you in this quick video. All right. And before I do that, just a quick information that within the description I have given 3 links. Very first link is for the dataset that I have used here. The second link is for the all the videos of Power BI within the Google spreadsheet I have mentioned, so that you can easily search, and a link is present to jump directly to that link. As searching it here on my YouTube channel may be sometimes difficult, so finding your specific video, you can go to that Google spreadsheet. And the third is the for all of my channel videos, you can access the third link where you can find the Python videos, where you can find the Tableau, Click, and all of those videos pretty easily by searching it over there, and access or learn what you want to learn. All right. So after that, let me show you how you can achieve this impact. All right. So what do I have is I will just going to go and create a new measure, and I will say it. I will give it a name. Let's say all sales, because I already have total sales. I'll give the name all sales, and you will just get to know in 1 minute why. So all underscore sales. After that, I will use the function calculate, because it will be based on some expression and filter. So I will say sum, expression will be sum of sales, right? And then in filters, I will going to specify the all as an all function, and in that I will specify the segment. That means the segment filter which is present over here, it will not impact your particular measure all sales when you will be filtering it. All right, so let's click OK. So it will be based on a filter on a filter basis which is present in your visualization. So if you, apart from segment, let's say you have product category, if you don't want the impact of product category, then within all you will be specifying the product category instead of segment, if that's what the requirement is. All right, so here I have all sales, so let me just select this and put all sales over here. Now all sales are coming. So remember this 167380, and for total sales this is just 87,000 because we have selected consumer. If I uncheck this, the value of this 87,000 will become 167,000. So if I uncheck that, now this value 167,380, 167,380 will be same. That means the filter impact is on this column, not on this column. So if I select home office, the value will change for this total sales because it is just sum of sales. However, this is using the all keyword, that's why it is removing the impact of the segment. So that's very quickly I wanted to show you how you can remove the impact of a particular filter that is basically that you want to apply and get the relevant output. So with that, you can take a homework where you create 2 more filters. Let's say, for example, there is this product related filters. You have let's say ship mode. Create one filter for ship mode. Maybe create one filter for region, and then apply sales for without region or without the ship mode. That means it is not having the impact of ship mode, right? So that way you can quickly exercise this particular function because it has 3 different functions inside it. It has first calculate, then sum, and the main function is all because it is removing that impact of segment. Alright, so that's about it, and I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video, and in this video I will show you the Power BI Dex function all selected, which is helpful in getting the totals populated for each of the column. For example, if we want to know the proportion of, let's say, out of 229, so this is 2.29 million is the sales. So what is the contribution of 167? I need to have this 2.29 at least populated over here so that I can calculate the contribution, and so on and so forth for this one. So in many scenarios, this function can be useful when you are looking at the percentage of contribution, and probably others based on your creative use of this function. So how you can get this type of scenario, I will show you in this video. And before I move ahead, just a quick information that within description I have 3 links present. The very first link is for the data source that is related to this video so that you can practice the same thing. Second is your Power BI videos, which is present in the Google spreadsheet, where you can easily search and give based on the given link you can directly jump onto that video, because sometimes searching it within the YouTube is problematic, right? It's not as easy as it's searching in a spreadsheet. The third link is for all of my videos that is on my channel for Tableau, Qlik, Python, Google Data Studio and all, where you can quickly search and start learning the topic which you like. Alright, so with that, let's move ahead and see how we can achieve this particular scenario where we are populating the total figure for each of the cells for any of these categories which is given here. Alright, for that I will click on the new measure and let me call it all selected sales. Alright, and we will use the function calculate, and we will use the sum of sales, and then we will going to write the all selected. So now we have all selected, and then we will going to write the name of the category. So in this case, the category for which we want the total is this subcategory. So we will say subcategory, then close this, the first for all selected, then for calculate, which is over here, and press this sign equals to. Now in a second we have this all selected present, which I can put it down there. I will just select this and put it over here, and now this 2.29 million is present and populated for each of these columns, right? And now if you select, let's say any filter, for example consumer, so whatever the total will be over here will be populated for each of these columns. That way you can further do or create any measure which is based on the calculation of this column and this column. That means what is the contribution of 87,000 in the 1.1 million of total sales for the consumer category. That can be one example, right? Similarly, you may have a different scenario which for which you may need to use the all selected, but that's basically the use that where you have the total populated in each column for a given category based on what you are specifying, and you can get the output out of it. So that's what I wanted to show you very quickly, the use of all selected sales. Similarly, you can create, maybe a couple of more categories, tables like this, and get the totals for those, for the sales, for the profit, or whatever. For example, here, take the profit like this 134, create one more column, you will get the profit. Maybe even same case for quantity, because we have the quantity column. So over here you can use the quantity and get the total for the quantity. That way you should be able to practice it easily and without much of a hassle. So that's mainly I wanted to show you and give you a scenario where all selected will be useful for you and you can get the most out of it. Alright, so with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll meet you in the next video with the new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI video, and in this Power BI video I will show you the count function. So whenever you have a need, when you need to count the customers, you need to count the products, you need to count the number of orders, you will going to utilize the count function. And within Power BI you have multiple count functions. As you can see, I have listed down all the different count functions that is available within Power BI, and step by step I will show you all of these functions as well as some tips and tricks during the videos, and finally some exercise so that you can practice it. So let's first start with the count function. So before I move ahead, just a quick information that this spreadsheet is present in the description, so that if you want to look at any previous video of Power BI, you can look at it. Also, along with this, there is another link which is present for the Google Data Studio report, which contains all of my videos from my channel, which you can search and jump to a video using the link which has been provided. Okay, so with that, let's move on to the Tableau. The Power BI, and see the count function. Alright, so here we are within the Power BI, and what we will going to do is create first of all a visualization, and I'll show you two different methods of using the count function. So what we will, let's say, create is maybe the matrix, or maybe this one, whatever works fine for us, but for now let's create matrix. And for dimension, what I'm going to choose, let's say the customer not the customer name, but maybe the category of the customer. So this category of customer is basically your product category, which says furniture, office supply, and technology. If you want little bit more detail, you can even look at another, which is subcategory, which is over here. So we can cross this one from rows and we can move this to here, because by default it will going to pick up in the columns after the rows. Alright, so we have it over here. Whatever dimension we want, either category, product category, or anything else. Now in the values, what we will going to do is we will going to, let's say we want to count the number of orders, right? So we will look at the order number field, and so we have order ID, this one, and we'll just use this, not in the columns but over here. So if you see, what it gives you, the first order ID. However, that's not what we want. So we'll go inside this, and here we have couple of options like first, last, count, distinct, and count. So we'll use the count, and it straight away give us the count of all the subcategories. So for example, in accessories you have 775 orders, for appliances you have 466 orders, and then you also have the option you can sort up and down. So as I clicked over here, the highest orders are coming here. So for example, binders is where you are getting the most of the orders, compared to the copiers where you are getting very few orders. So as you can see, the count function or the counting of value will give you a lot of insights into your data, as what are your top 3 categories in which you are getting the orders, or what are your least 3 or the last 3 categories in which you are getting the orders. So that's something very, very useful. Now this counting, what we have done is using the count function, which is an inbuilt here. And I don't recommend this is because, for example, if you have to do the count of order ID, if you have to use it at multiple different metrics, if you are creating, you know, a big report, it may be a possibility that you are using this in 4 or 5 different places, or maybe 10 different places. In that case, you know, using the order ID again and again and changing it to a count does not make a whole lot of sense. And think about a scenario if you need to change little bit into let's say, for example, instead of count of order ID, you need, let's say, count of another value, maybe for example postal code, right? So that way you have to go in each and every metric, figure out where it is, and then change it. Instead, what you can do is you can create a measure. By creating a measure, what you can make sure is that you have a central location where your count of values are present, or count of a field is present, and you can simply use that field wherever it is needed. And whenever a change required, you just change that one field or one measure, and at all the places where that field is used, in all the charts it is used, it will be changed automatically. So let's see how you can do that. So a couple of ways by which you can do that, and one of the nicest ways, you right click over here and click on new measure. So once you click on new measure, it gives you an area or a place over here, as you can see, which can enable you to write a measure. So what you can do, order count, order underscore count, and you use the function which is COU. As I've just written the COU, you can see that all the different functions which is starting from COU is being given to us by IntelliSense of the Power BI. So I am pressing the tab and count. What do I want count? I want count of order ID. So I'll just click over here, press tab and close this, right? So now I have this field which is order count. I'll just press enter over here, and it will going to create a new measure for us, which is present over here. And if you see, the measure is having a different icon altogether, right? So now what I can do is I can select this visualization again, and over here I'll just remove this. Instead, what I'll use is the order count, and it gives me the same value if you observe, right? Accessories 775, binders is basically 1523. All of this is very similar, but I don't have to specify any order count. Or if you go inside this, what you see is different values altogether. That means you have a different features, right? For example, you can do conditional formatting, you can rename this field, you can show the value as. There are a couple of options like no calculation, percentage of grand total, percentage of column total, percentage of row total. All of these facilities are now, we have it because we are using the measure which is order count, right? So once we have this, oops, I just clicked maybe something here. So let me quickly remove this Q&A button, remove, right? So what do we have is the order of count. Now, as a part of exercise, what you should do is you create another measure which will going to count the customer ID, right? So we have the order ID. What you will going to count is the customer ID, which I have shown you how you can do that by creating a measure. And another exercise which you should do is on the product ID by counting the product ID. For example, in this accessories subcategory, how many products are present and how many customers are present along with the orders that you have got. So that way, this metric at the end, once you will complete the exercise, it will show you how what are the total order, what are the total customer, what are the total products, and you will have the complete information about your database from the perspective of subcategories. So that's very insightful information. We can get it. And one more thing I want to show you, which I mentioned, that for example, tomorrow, if we want to change from order count to, let's say, customer count, we can very easily do it. For example, if you click here and go into these 3 ellipses which you have, what you see is count of sample order ID. You can simply remove this, right, and write the new field name. That way, wherever this count, the order count, you can change it to something more generic, right, which is hash count, or something else which is more meaningful from business perspective. And if it is used at 15 different places, you just change it here, and all those 15 different charts and visualization or metrics, it will be changed accordingly. So that's very quickly I wanted to show you about the count function, about its benefit, and now I'll meet you in the next video with a different count function. And before I move ahead, one last important thing is that count function does not count the blank or missing values, right? So in that case, if there is any order ID which is missing, it will not count that. And we have different functions which I showed you, and I will show you when the function is coming to us for the purpose of demo. So that's about it. I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic. Hello there, and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial where I will show you the count rows function. So in the previous video, I've shown you the count function which does not count the blank values or the missing values, but count rows gives us the flexibility or the completeness of count by counting the rows. So what it does is it basically takes the entire table information and count the number of rows that the table is having. That way we can make sure that wherever we use the output, it will be the count of all rows in the table. That means if there is anything missing in a particular column, we won't have a problem in that, because what we are doing is counting rows but not the column values. Okay, so how we can do that is I'm showing you in a minute. And before that, just a quick information that this spreadsheet which contains Power BI tutorial is present in the description, so that you can search any of the previously posted videos. Like for example, right now I'm on a video number 71, so you can search all the previous video, and using the link present over here, you can jump to those videos so that you can view it. Apart from this, I have another report link which is about the Google Data Studio report, which contains not just Power BI but all the other videos which I have posted, like Click or Tableau, so that you can use or you can view those videos as well if you are planning to learn those technologies. Okay, so let's go ahead within Power BI and see the count rows function. So let me come over here. So if you remember, this is the order count which I have used in the previous video, and here is the output table that we produced by the product subcategory, which basically says by each product subcategory how many order count that we have. Now what we will going to do is we will going to create a row count or count rows. So what I'll do is right click over here like we have done previously, and we will going to click on the new measure. The new measure will open up a window which will allow us to enter the formula and the formatting, everything that we want, and we will say order underscore rows underscore count. That's the name of our measure that we are creating, and we will say count, and it will show me all the functions that is related to the count. So I'll just click over here and press tab. This will give me count rows, and I need to provide the entire table name. So that is sample superstore orders, right? I am selecting this and pressing tab and closing this. Now this way, instead of column values, what it is counting is the rows, right? So we'll just enter this, and we will have the order rows count over here. So once we will put the order row count here below to the order count, what you see in most of the scenarios, we have the same count, and even the total count is same. What it indicates is that in our table, when we look at the order ID column, I think that's what we use in case of order count, the order ID. That means order ID is not at all missing, right? And if you have done the exercise where the customer ID or the product ID is present, what you can figure it out that with the comparison of this column, if any product ID or customer ID is missing. So for example, if let's say what you have is art, and you have 796 is the row count, and for customer ID, if you get, let's say, 500, that means 296 IDs are missing, right? So those sort of information is very useful, where you can get the overall table count over here, and then have your rest of the counts based on the needs, and that can do the comparison and look into the data quality as well. But mainly that's what I wanted to show you about how you can count the rows within the Power BI by using the count rows function. So that's about it. And for an exercise, what you may need to do is, if there is any other data that you have it available, or using the link which I have in the description, there are multiple data sets which are available. You can extract any of the data set and get the output of the number of rows that is present in that data set. So it's very helpful information, and you can slice and dice with the way you want, by subcategory or anything that you want, or by city, by country, by using that relevant dimension. So that's about it, and I'll meet you in the next video with the new topic. Hello there, and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video. And in this tutorial video, I will show you the CountX function. CountX function is a very helpful function because we can specify the conditions inside the count function and get the relevant output, and that's most of the time what you will need when you are creating any metrics or visualization, because those are based on various different needs of the business, and that means you need to apply some sort of a condition just to make sure that you get them the right output. So I'll show you how you can specify the condition, and that will be a little bit advanced, but I think you should be able to get it. Should not be that hard as well. Before I move ahead, just a quick information that this sheet of all the My Power BI videos is present in the description, so that you can search and jump to this particular video. Also, along with this, another report is present which contains all of my videos, whether Power BI, Tableau, Click, Python, all of those are present in one single report, where there also you can search and jump to directly to that video. Alright, with that, let's go ahead within the Power BI and see it in action. Alright, so what do we have over here is basically two measures that we have created. One is the order count to take the count of columns, and one is for row count to take the count of row from the entire table, right? And now what we will going to do is we will going to specify condition inside the count. So I just right clicked over here on the table name and click on new measure. So the condition we want to get is that for all the product categories that we have, we want to get only the corporate orders, right? So we say corporate underscore orders, and we say over here CountX, and within the CountX we will going to first of all use the filter as the function. So what filter does is it filters the table. So filter is our let's say for example, so our table is sample superstore over here, right? And our filter expression is basically based on the segment. So segment is basically our corporate segment. So that's the condition that we can specify over here, corporate. All right, and we can close this. So filter is closed, as you can see. So first parameter is the table name, second parameter is the field name, and we are assigning using this evaluation operator to make sure that we only get the corporate. And then we use the field count for which we want the count. For example, whether we want customer ID, order ID. So in this case, order ID, right? So we'll say order ID, press enter and close this. All right, and that's about it. And if I just revisit this, what we have done, we have first opened the CountX and specified the condition with the help of the filter function, which is another DEX function. And within the filter, we are saying we want only the corporate customers. So there is corporate, there is home office, and I think there is one more value that you have inside this field. And with this filtered table, we want only the order ID count, or we want only the order ID. You can have customer ID, you can have product ID, whatever count you want, you can get it. And let's press enter. So once we press the enter, you have this field over here, corporate orders, and if I bring it over here, you will see the corporate order. So if I just click outside, so if you see, for accessories, the total orders that you have is 775 from both of these columns you can get, but out of 775, 227 orders is being ordered only by the corporate customers. So that's the condition most of the time we have to apply based on various business rules and count the values. It's similar to, if you will guess, it's more similar to count if else, or if condition and then the count condition. I mean, there are various mix and matches that by which you can do, but that's but within Power BI you can take the help of count X and the filter functions and get the relevant count for your needs. So that's what I mainly wanted to show you about how you can use the count function. Now, as an exercise, what I want you to do is you look at the segment. So for example, if I just use the slicer over here and use the segment. So for the exercise, what I have already done is corporate customer. Similarly, you create a measure where you have consumer orders and you have home office orders, right? That means 2 more columns. That way, if you do these 2 exercises, at the end of the exercises, you will be very much comfortable using the count X function along with the filter condition, and whenever any similar condition is coming to you, you will not have any issue in utilizing that. So that's about it, and now I'll meet you in the next video with the new topic. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video. And in this Power BI tutorial video, I will show you the calculate table function. Calculate table function is a very useful one, which probably you will use it once you get to know about it, because it helps you create a new table or a virtual table based on a given condition. Many times from the existing table, you may want to create a whole together new table. For example, let's say you have this table, which I am using the orders table. If I go into this data mode, then you will see that a lot of table, the columns are present like order date, priority, ship mode, customer name, province, region, whatnot, right? Now you may have a scenario, let's say you want to get only the low order priority, or you want to get only those orders where sales is greater than $100, let's say, for that particular reason. So in those scenarios, the calculate table will come very handy, where you will have your main table orders along with the another table that will sit beside to this order table. All right, so how do you do that? Well, for that particular scenario, you go into the modeling, right, and come over here, write a Dex expression to create a new table, and table we will going to create using the calculate table. So what I will going to write is high sales value order, high underscore sales is I will say, and I will write this calculate table. As you can see, it evaluates a table expression in the context modified by filter. So I press tab to complete the calculate table function. Now I need to specify the table, and the table that we have is the order. And now I have to specify filter. I can specify one filter or I can specify multiple filter. Now, since we are just looking at it very first time, I will keep it simple and I will say order sales is greater than 500, right? So all in all, what it is basically saying is create a new table where from the orders table where order sales is greater than 500. So what I have just done is, if you are coming from the SQL background, I have just translated the calculate table to you in a SQL query format. Alright, so once I press enter, it will do the processing and you would see the high underscore sales table is present here. Now you can see how handy or how useful it can become in scenario like those where you don't want to touch your main table, but you want to create tables out of the main table based on a specific condition or a specific business scenario for which you want to keep the records separate. Alright, so once I come over here in this data, you see the high sales, and over here you will see the sales that is greater than basically of 500. So over here, if you see, you have got 540, 583. So whatever be the sales amount, if I just click over here, you will see that it will start from 500 and goes all the way up to that whatever is the maximum sales value is up until the end, which is 945. Now if you see, if I come over here in the orders table, you have orders table intact and nothing is coming over here as come to the filter. You have all the order values, right? So both of these tables are present. And similarly, if you want, you can create new tables. So for example, as an exercise, what you should do is, why don't you go ahead and create the low order priority table as one table, give it a name, low order priority, and from the shipping mode, create one table where it is delivered by express air, right? So that's something you can do as a two different exercises for this particular scenario. Now, there is one more way by which you can use the calculate table function, and that is by creating a new measure. So in a similar way, if you don't need a table, but if you want to create a measure that you can use it anywhere in the chart or visualization, you can use that. So once you click it over here on the new measure, and you will say, let's say for example, high sales. Again, I am using the same basically way to calculate using the calculate table function. So now I will wrap the calculate table into the SumX because I am creating a measure, and measure only returns one value, right? One value, or basically the aggregated value. So in that case, I will use calculate table, and in that calculate table I will specify what I want, because if you see over here, I need to first specify the table, which is orders, and then I will say hi, order sales is greater than, let's say 500. All right, I am done. So within the SumX, I have got this table already created, and now I can choose whatever expression I want. So here I want to calculate the sales back to based on the condition that is being specified over here. So once you do that, click this, come to the chart over here. Now if you see, the high sales is part of the order table, not something which is separate, right? So what I'll do is I will create this card and I will use the high sales over here. So whatever is the highest sale, the sales aggregated value, which is more than 500, is coming over here. Now what I'll do is I will create the another card and I will just take the normal sales, which is here. All right, this is coming same, which is not the expected behavior. So let me just go it over here very quickly and see. So order high sales is greater than, okay, maybe what I need to do is I need to use the order sales over here. That's probably the mistake which I have done. Okay, I'll say sales, which I should pick it up from order sales, this one, greater than 500, and then order sales. Because of this condition, it was not satisfying, so it was picking up the entire value. Now it should pick the right value, and if I just get, and now you will see it has changed to 14.11 million. So overall sales value is 14.9 and 14.11. So remember this. You can also do maybe a similar mistake when you are in the environment and you may wonder what's going on. So the best way is, or the normal way or the standard way is, to just go back and look at the definition. So if something incorrect that you have specified, you will have to come back and do it again here. So these are the two different scenarios I wanted to show you, that how you can create altogether separate table as well as a measure based on the calculate table expression, which you can use it very easily within your Power BI environment for creation of the tables or charts or visualization. So that's mainly about it. I wanted to show you. Let me know what do you think about this video. If you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to keep getting the videos like this, and keep suggesting me if you have any new content idea. I'll try to create a video out of it. Thank you. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video. And in this tutorial video, I will show you how you can create a new table using the calculate table function, but only select the few columns or the required columns. So if you remember from my previous video, what we did is we used the calculate table function and we created the high sales. So if I click it over here, this is basically the output or the table output based on this calculate table function. And what we did is we actually went inside the modeling and we clicked on this new table where we wrote the DAX expression to create a new table, and the expression was this one, and the output we got in the form of the high sales table which had all the columns from the orders table, because we did not specify anything. We just specified the table name orders and the condition order sales is greater than 500. So when there is nothing that we specify, then we get all the columns from the base table. But what if I want to specify only few columns which I need for my analysis, not all the columns? Well, in that case, you need to tweak this little bit and say within the calculate table, you need to use the function summarize and close it over here. All right. And first specify the table, right? And then use the group by column names by which you want this information to be grouped by, or the columns that you want to select for this particular analysis. Now, let's say I want maybe customer segment and maybe order priority, right? I want we have sales, so let's take sales. We have sales, we already have, so no worries around that, because anyway we're going to get the sales. Then we have, let's say, product category and the product subcategory, right? And finally what we need is basically sales, just so that it is part of it. So once I click over here, it will create a table. Okay, product category was specified more than once. All right, so what we need is basically product subcategory. Okay, so product subcategory, and click on this. Now if you see, the table is reduced with the columns that we need. So that's how easy it is once you know what are the functions that you need, and it's basically an output of calculate and summarize. Summarize is doing nothing but helping us grouping by the information, so grouping the sales by different the column that we have specified. So that's mainly I wanted to talk about in this video very quickly, about how to create the new table from the base table by only selecting specific column. And remember, if you are not summarizing or if you are not specifying summarize, then you will going to get all the columns from the base table. Hello there and welcome to the new Power BI tutorial video. And in this video, I will show you the filter function. Okay, spelling mistake. So filter function. Filter function is basically useful in two different conditions. One, when you have to create a virtual table based on a condition, and second is when you need to create a new measure based on a condition. So in these two scenarios, this function is really helpful. In the first scenario, we can use the function independent of any other function, but in the second scenario, when you need to create a new measure, we use it along with other function. So I'll show you in a minute as to how we can do that. Alright, so what we will going to do is look at the first scenario. So in the first scenario, what we will going to do is we'll come to the orders table, and in the orders table, we will going to create, let's say, a one table which is based on the customer segment. Let's say we have customer segment, multiple customer segment. If I just select this, all right, there you go. Consumer, corporate. Let's say we want to create a table which only has the consumer details, right? So I'll just delete that. For this, I need to go into the modeling to create a table. Here we have this new table, and as you can see from the tooltip, it is saying write a DEX expression to create a new table. That means it will going to take our DEX function filter to the consideration. So we'll click here. All right, and now what I will going to write is consumer data, and then we'll simply use filter. Table name is orders, and it will be customer segment equals to consumer, and we should be good. So just want to make sure that consumer, yeah, otherwise it will return an error or it will not show you the output correctly. Okay, so once we are done with this, we'll just click on this right sign, and you will see the consumer data table is being created, which we can see it over here. And if we look at the customer segment field over here, everything is consumer. So over here, if I select this, the only filter value you are going to get is consumer. So that way you can have your table filtered, or a new table which is based on a given condition. Similarly, you can have something like, if I just expand this, you can have maybe based on the product category, like there is this one which I experimented with earlier, the furniture table, based on the province, region, profit. Let's say you want to get only those data points, or you want to create a table from this base table where you have the profit above $100, maybe something like high value, high profit orders or something like that, or a low profit orders which is less than 10 value of profit, if that's the interest area. So that's one scenario. Next scenario is create a new measure based on the condition. So for that, what we need is the new measure, and we click it over here, and we'll give a new measure as consumer sales, consumer underscore sales, and we will use the main function which is calculate. It will going to first ask you the expression. The expression will be the sum of sales orders. Okay, and here we will going to specify the filter as it expects the filter over here. So you'll see filter, table is our orders, and filter expression is the same, which is customer segment equals to consumer, close this, and we are good. If I click it over here, you will see the consumer sales is created. The only thing you need to make sure is this particular table was selected, the consumer data. That's why it is being created over here in consumer sales. If I just copy this first, what I want to do is I want this to be inside the orders table. Then only we can see the difference. So I will delete this from the model, delete it. Now I'll just make sure that I have this table selected, and then I click on the new measure to make sure that measure is present in the right table. Consumer underscore sales. Oops, I'll just put it here. So that is calculate order sales filter, everything what you write, what we have written it earlier. So yeah, so now the consumer sales is under the orders table. Okay, so what we were going to do is create a card over here and give it a consumer sales 3.06 million. Now let's create another card and give it a complete sales, which is 14.9 million. And next thing is, let's bring in the filter, add the customer segment, which is here. When we add the customer segment, this is consumer sales. If we filter it on here, consumer, this number should match with this number, just to make sure that whatever calculation we have done is correct. So once we click on consumer, it will give you 3.06 million. So that means whatever we have done is right. So similar way, you can create your own calculation. Maybe as an experiment, what you can do is, for the rest of the customer segment, like corporate, home office, and small business, create this expression so that by the end of doing this exercise, you will have complete idea how to use the calculate function, the sum function, and the filter function together, which is more of like a nested functions within the DEX. So this can be a good exercise for you, and let me know if you have any question. And if you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for keep getting these videos. Thank you.